Right. Well, this is unusual for me. I don't really do these kind of equipment test things. It's not my thing, you know. I'm not really about the equipment. I think it's more about you, which is this. As I said this morning on this drawing that I did this morning. It goes through. I have different papers on here, and I go through, and you get different results. This one, which again I showed you this morning, still been doing a bit of work on that. It's looking a lot better. This is completely different colour, completely different paper. And generally, I don't know where it comes from. It kind of they're just pads that I pick up when I'm out and about in the local store, and I just, you know, strip them off the folder or whatever and stick them on here, and then away you go. So, and I've been using this paper, this one, which is cartridge. It's a recycled cartridge, and I've been using this for 4 years. It's always been cheap until recently, and suddenly got expensive. Plus the fact that a lot of it's damaged because it's recycled. It has flaws in it, so I throw a quarter of it away. And it's no longer expensive and no longer cheap. But then I decided to look for some better paper, and I started doing it. I did an A2 drawing, and it was in something that's made by these people, but at A2. And I thought if A2 was good, then it would be good at A3. So I looked for this stuff, pronounce that however you want, and I got it from a company called Great Art in the UK. I think they're not based in the UK. The downside was that, well, the upside is that it's exactly the same price for 2 of these as it was for 250 sheets of the cartridge. There's 240, there's only 120 in these, so there's 250, and I lose 20 quarter of the other one anyway, so I still get more with this. It's at the same price with two pads. And the downside is that it took like 3.5 weeks to come. Which wasn't a problem. I was just sort of getting in front of it. But yeah, so that's it. That's the paper. As I said, if you can pronounce that, and that's the number 1. So I decided to try it, and this is it. This is the drawing. This is the paper. It flows better than the other one. It holds a denser line than the other one. And because it also reacts quite easily to the charcoal, and one of the things that I like is, marks with no effort thing. It means that it's even better at doing that. Not only is the charcoal making marks with no effort, the paper is actually allowing it to make marks with no effort, which is a big thing for me. I like the idea of, when you're manipulating the tones, I like the idea of it floating over the surface and putting a very fine like that. And you can barely see it, but it's just affecting the tones as I'm doing that. And I like that. As I say, it's it gives you much more control over it. So generally, more than generally, this is it's probably going to be my paper now. This is the paper I'm going to use because it's, as I said, the fact is that it's cheap and it's good. It just allows for all the things that I like that eye, for instance. There's just little things in that eye that I change. I tried it with, it's good with my finger to smudge it with my finger. It's also good if I'm going to do, if I want to rub things out. It's quite good at rubbing things out. It takes it's not hard to take off the charcoal. There's residue. There's always been residue in what I do anyway. I don't mind the residue of marks that are just part of the the growth of the evolution of the drawing. I don't mind those things. It just gives the the thing a bit more of a substance to it, because it's not typically cartridge. I say I don't mind if it doesn't come off really white. I like the leftovers. I think it gives a much better feel to it from my point of view, as I say. But yeah, this is the charcoal. I was going to do it live, but I wasn't quite sure how it would turn out, and it'd be a waste of time if I'm talking about it. But as I was drawing it, I could tell that, you know, it takes the cartridge, it takes the charcoal well. It's easily rubbable, you know, rub outable, whatever that is. It's easy to erase from it, and yeah, it's good. And as I say, it was cheap. Can't remember how much. It was probably 25 quid or something for two. It's about £12 a pad, something like that. I don't know how much that is in other currencies, but in the UK, it was about, I think it was about £12. It may have been an offer. I often get the things from, once you're a customer with Great Art, you tend to get all their flyers, and sometimes they'll have discounts on things. It may have been that. I don't think it was. But yeah, I say I think the results are pretty good for what I want from it. So next time I'm drawing, what I'll probably do, I'll probably start doing. I don't want to seem like I'm promoting it though. But I was thinking I might put a link to the paper in, you know, below in the description. But I don't want to be promoting it, and not that I mind. I mean, if it's good, it's good. People should know, and if it becomes popular and they make more of it, then that's probably good. It won't go out of existence. But it's not your standard, you know, preferred choice. You know, the professional choice. I can't think of the name of it. There's that the Bristol stuff or whatever. Strathmore. It's not that kind of thing. I don't think it's like that at all. Anyway, it's probably more like just a normal drawing pad. I don't know. In fact, what does it say on it? It doesn't say on it. It's just for sketching. That's all it says on it. Which I mean, I've not done anything major on this with it. That paper that I'm doing that one on is the cheapest of cheap papers. That's just supermarket sketchbooks. And no, I mean, I'm working that and making it darker and darker, and it's not making any difference to it really. By comparison, though, I tell you what, just look at this. I don't know if you can see the. I mean, this is very dark as well, I suppose. It's dark because this is white paper, but it's very dark on there, and it was easy to achieve those darks. Also, there's a amount of, probably can't see it in there, amount of buildup of charcoal, which causes this kind of rashing effect, this kind of small, like an orange peel kind of surface, because the charcoal builds up on it. This one doesn't do that. You do get, there is a slight texture on this new one. In there, you can just see it in there, and on the other lines that I'm putting on, you can see there's texture in the line. Don't mind it so much. It's not Strathmore texture. You know, when you do it with Strathmore, you've got a definite grain to it almost. That's not good. For me, that's not good. You're fighting, trying to make tones at the same time as working with the paper that's also trying to make tonal effects, because it's got a texture on it, which is never very good. So you don't want to be messing about it. It makes things so much harder if you've got a paper that it insists on creating its own texture because it's got, or its own tone because it's got a texture, sort of divots in it that where the charcoal sits within it, and all that kind of stuff. It's not good. It just makes it harder. Anyway, so yeah, I'm pleased with that. It was worth waiting for. I didn't know how it was going to work out. The A2 one is number 2, I think, of that. So I suppose I don't think there's a bigger one than that. There might be. I don't know. Anyway, Great Art is the site I got it from, and it's whatever I showed you in the earlier video, that brand name, and which I can't pronounce. So right, yeah, I'm going to finish off. I don't know if I'll finish this off, but I might finish this off. But I'm going to finish that off now, and just tweak the balance of things. The balance is looking pretty good anyway now. But little things. You know, when I'm looking at balance, and I was looking at that bit there, the side of her chin, just there, side of her mouth, and the top of her chin there. I was looking at those as a balance, and then the tonal value of that shadow under them, you know, because her lip casts a shadow. The tip of her nose being a bit too round and bulbous and too slick and too finished, needs to be broken up a little bit and sort of a bit more angles on the sides. But that's the kind of thing that I would do on it. Try not to take it to a level of drawing, whereas this has got a nice, you know, spontaneous feel about it. That's probably more, you know, more for me is more desirable, although as I don't mind the other one. But looking at balance on this one, can you see how that, even though it's a highlight on there, can you see how that just throws it straight out? It doesn't need that. It needs to be knocked back, and it needs to be like that, but it doesn't need to be as light as that. So I need to balance those tones. It's only on the very tip there, and then around that corner that it actually it sorts of it gets near anything that's white. So the rest of it needs to be knocked back, as it is working now, as you can see. But it's little things like that. I mean, it's nothing really. I think it's the thing is with stuff like that, you just have to be able to see it. You know, if we can't see those things, that's the problem. Yeah, I better it is already. But well, I'd take it much further. I don't know. As I say, I like things like that. I was more interested in the way that the paper worked. And when I was making the marks, it had a nice flow, which you can see in the hair and things. You can see there's a great flow in those there. So if I come down here and make this mark here, you see how it sort of flows with a sort of a kind of a responsive density, you know, and you can just slightly change the pressure that you apply, and it becomes a little bit darker there. That's a nice thing. That's a thing to have if it's charcoal you're working with. I'm not sure that you concern yourself with that kind of thing if you're working graphite. You've got full control with graphite. This is to some extent there is no control with this kind of approach with charcoal. You really don't want too much control. You want it to be just literally flowing from your arm. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, and I just wanted to tell you about the paper really. So I'll add a link to the description below so that you can see where it came from. Right. Yeah, looks good. That I like that. I'll catch you in the next one.